freaking monkeys and red pandas with cool outfits. Scary stuff. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games and board gamey things. I am back again today with another pumped up Gamefound. And today's preview video is going to be on Dragons of Etchinstone from Chip Theory Games, who very kindly sponsored today's video. Now there's a few things to note. Number one, I don't have a box. That means that this game is a prototype. Very, very prototype. So I don't even have a box. The cards are kind of in these shiny sleeves, which will not be the case, obviously, when you purchase the game. So I just wanted to let you know anything that you see is subject to change, including iconography, card art, rules, and everything like that. It's kind of ever progressing. So as per usual with my preview videos, this is not going to be an official how to play video. Instead, this is more of a general overview to help give you a good idea of how the game works to figure out whether or not it's going to be a good fit for you. Now, this is a solo only game, kind of like how 20 Strong was a Chip Theory solo only game. This is a solo only game that only uses cards. So this is the entire game. So it's totally transportable and something a little bit different from Chip Theory, which is great to see. So I say we dive into the preview, and I will mention, I will link in the description below a couple of things. Number one being a solo playthrough from my friend Nick over at the Brothers Murph. So if you'd like to see that and kind of see a full gameplay, I will have that in the description below, as well as links to the campaign. Now, the campaign is going to end very soon, so if this sounds like something you might be interested in, run, don't walk, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's dive in. In Dragons of Etchinstone, players will fight as apprentice mages journeying through 4 perilous regions in Vale before challenging a fearsome dragon in a final encounter, using ether magic to overcome adversity, frightening enemies, and difficult journeys. You must effectively manage your hand of mage cards to achieve victory. To win Dragons of Etchinstone, you must traverse 4 regions, make one final journey, and defeat one of the 4 dragons. You lose if you perish when in the final battle. But what does any of that mean? I'm glad you asked. Let's take a closer look at how the game works. Before we get into how the game works, there's a few key concepts that you'll need to know, and I would like to start by showing you the different types of cards that you're going to encounter, starting with mage cards. Now, mage cards are used in hand to overcome enemies and journeys. On top of the deck, they also function as what is called the key card to indicate the encounter you'll face and any hardships affecting it. So let's just take a closer look at a mage card. So there's a bunch of different numbers and levels, but for this, we're actually just going to be focusing on this side because these mage cards are going to be kind of moving around. So you'll see here we have the name of the card. In this case, it's brute force. The 2 inside of the crown indicates the card's level. So this is a level 2, whereas this side would be a level 1. So yes, rotating cards is definitely a thing in this game. Then we have the encounter icon as well as the encounter value. So here we have a 3. This symbol here is a hardship. So you'll notice it's on the level 1 side, but not on the level 2 side. Then we have initiative value. We have the basic action. We have the enhanced action. We have the boost number, the armor, and the upgrade cost. Okay, so these are going to be different on every card, but the layout will be the same. Next, we have region cards, and region cards detail the enemies and journeys you'll face throughout the adventure. This right here is an example of a region card. So we have the name, the region level, we have the enemy that you're going to be facing, which you can see we've got 4 little duders in here. This is the journey. We have the enemy's HP, ability, initiative, attack, everything like that is listed off to the side. So basically everything that you need to know for the particular enemy or for the particular journey is going to be right on the card. Finally, we have dragon cards, and dragon cards are the final enemies, and each game ends with a final battle against one of these formidable creatures. Let's take a closer look at a dragon card, and here we have Rodving. Doesn't he look pretty but also scary? And these are double-sided, just so everybody knows. Here we have their name, we have their initiative, their early damage, their armor. We also have symbols on the side as well, which will represent different tiers, attacks, and things like that. So all of the dragon cards are laid out the same, but they are going to have different numbers, different colors, all of that stuff on them. In this game, cards have multiple orientations, as I mentioned before with the mage cards. Mage cards have 4 orientations denoting levels 1 through 4 on the mage card. So we have 2, we have 1. On the flip side, we will have 3 and 4. So you are going to be upgrading and knocking down these cards as you play. Region cards, which are these here, we have Region 1. On the flip side, Region 2. We have Region 3, and then on the flip side, Region 4. And dragons have 2 orientations with 2 of the 4 unique regions or dragons on each card. Okay? To start the game, you'll orient all 16 mage cards with the level 2 at the top. So you can see all of my mage cards at the top have level 2. That's very important. Then you're going to choose which dragon you want to face at the end and select the first region to begin your journey. So I've selected Helsing as my dragon. He's going to go at the back of the deck. We are going into the Jade Mountains in Region 1. We are going to put that on top of the deck. And then the other region is going to go beneath the dragon. To start, you'll draw a hand of 4 cards, and that's your team of spells and abilities for now. And then, like I mentioned before, you'll place the region card on top of the deck. The entire game is driven by this evolving deck of mage cards. You'll face a series of encounters by drawing the top card of the deck called the key card, which determines what kind of challenge you're about to face. The game unfolds over 5 expeditions, 4 regions, and 1 final battle. Each region is made up of a series of encounters, either enemies to fight or journeys to survive. These are tied to the region card, which gives you a list of challenges for that specific zone. Encounters are divided into 5 phases. We have the challenge phase, the action phase, the penalty phase, the upgrade phase, and finally the cleanup phase. So let's take a closer look at these phases, starting with the challenge phase. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to pull down your region card to show your key card. You'll check its icon to see if you're facing an enemy or a journey and then determine which one based on the number next to it. And these are laid out in order on the region card. So if we're looking at this one, top card here, the key card is Rain of Blood. It's showing that we're going to be going up against an enemy and we're going up against the second enemy. So that would be this one right here. You're also going to check for any hardships on that key card, and these are modifiers like ambushes that double incoming damage or storms that punish you based on your time penalty. So the Rain of Blood doesn't actually have one, but if we had looked at Fleet-footed as our key card, this would have a hardship symbol, which is identified right here. There are going to be reference cards that let you know everything, so this symbol in particular references night travel. Subtract your initiative from your boost to a minimum of 0. Now, if things look too tough, you can choose to divert, which lets you skip the challenge by discarding 2 cards, one from your hand and the key card. But you can only divert twice before you are forced to face whatever comes next. So be careful, because what you end up with might be a lot harder than what you started out with. But that's totally up to you. This is your journey, my friend. The next phase is the action phase, and this is the heart of the game. From your hand, which are those 4 cards you drew at the beginning, you'll assign 3 of your mage cards to specific roles. So first you're going to assign your element, which determines your initiative and color for potential enhanced actions. Elemental synergy is huge in this game. So there are 4 different types of colors of cards. So we have red, we have blue, we have purple, and we have yellow, and they all have associated symbols next to them. So in this instant, you would be determining which one of these cards would be for the element, and maybe we want to use this one. Okay, so this is going to determine the element, the initiative, which is 5, and the color for potential enhanced actions. Then you're going to choose your spell, and this is your main action. It's either an attack for enemies or a move for journeys. If you're up against the wrong type of challenge, you can always default to a 1 power action. We might want to play this card as our spell because it matches the element, meaning we're going to be able to use the enhanced action, and that's a pretty decent attack. And last but not least, boost, which adds extra power to any one of your stats, whether it's attack, move, or initiative, you choose where. So we might want to use this one because it's a +3 boost. Not too shabby. Got 2 cards of the same color? Well, you can fuse them to combine their color identity and stats. But just know that you'll lose one of those cards after the encounter. So it's powerful, but it's costly. So as an example, if we had these 2 yellow cards, we could combine them, and that way we'd be able to fuse their color and their stats. The card that you don't use, you'll have typically 1 left over unless you fuse, is going to be put to the left of your action set. Let's look at resolving the encounter, starting with for enemies. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to check the initiative. So we selected this card as our element card, which is going to give us our initiative of 5, which is greater than the 4 that the monkey has, so we'll have first initiative. If the enemy goes first, you will take early damage. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Then you're going to compare your attack. Now remember, we played this card, which does match our element, so we get the enhanced attack, which is great. Now another thing you're going to look at is the color of the enemy's shield and attack. If I were to attack this enemy with a red attack, which I'm not, then they would be able to add their armor to their health, which is 11. But because I'm doing blue, they're not going to be able to do that. However, if I were attacking the 3rd enemy, that would be something I'd need to take into consideration. Okay, so I would be hitting them for 5, which isn't even making half of a dent into them. But don't worry, because we do have a boost card. So I will be adding 3, so 5, 6, 7, 8. Based on how much damage you do, you'll either win outright, which is great. You'll win, but you'll take a hit if you do at least half damage rounded up, or you lose the encounter and take full damage, okay? In this instance, we haven't won outright, but we have caused over half damage rounded up. So what that means is we are going to have to take a hit from them. However, we are still going to get to gain our experience point, and in this case, that is going to be 7. And we want experience points, so that's pretty good. I am going to put an image here on the screen so you can see all of the outcomes and the results kind of in a bit more of a visual format, but just know that there are essentially 3 outcomes with 3 different types of results depending on how much damage you do and kind of what damage you are going to be taking. And don't forget, you've got shields too. For journeys, it's all about movement. If your move stat beats the challenge's MP, aka movement points, you succeed. It's the same logic: full success, partial success with penalties, or outright failure. So here, just as an example, I would have probably selected different cards if we were going up against a journey in a different order, because where these are attack, we have these 2 cards with movement. So you kind of change up based on whether you're doing attack or a movement kind of journey or enemy. And just for visual sake, here is the table of what that looks like if you are doing a journey for your full success, partial success with penalties, or outright failure. I hope you don't outright fail, but sometimes it's going to happen. Just is what it is. Both enemies and journeys may have abilities or perils that spice things up a little. There's poison effects, there's steep terrain, added damage, time loss. There's always something to watch out for. It's very dangerous out here being a mage. The next phase is the penalty phase. This is basically where you take your lumps. Damage causes you to downgrade cards by rotating them down a level. And you can only soak up so much damage before cards start getting trashed, meaning removed from the game entirely. Where did that card go? I just threw it and it flew. Time penalties, on the other hand, make you discard cards from the top of your deck. And if your deck runs out, that becomes even more damage. So yeah, everything hurts. Next, we have the upgrade phase, which is much nicer. If you won the encounter even narrowly, you'll earn XP, and you can spend it to upgrade cards in hand by rotating them up to the next level. So, as an example, the 2 would upgrade to a 3, 3 upgrade to a 4, and obviously a 1 would upgrade to a 2. The amount of XP gained is going to be listed down in the corner of the enemy or down at the bottom of your journeys. So as an example, if we had beat and defeated the monkey, that's 7 XP that we can spend. Higher level cards are going to give you stronger stats, more synergy, and a better shot at surviving the next region, so I definitely recommend that you upgrade your cards. And also, you can't save XP. It's basically a use it or lose it situation. Now, the final phase is the cleanup phase. You discard the cards you used, draw back up to 4, and loop back to the next encounter. 2, 3, 4. This cycle will continue until there aren't enough cards left for another encounter. Then it's time to move on to the next region. In this instance, we're in region 1. You just kind of flip over and then you're in region 2. After you make it through 4 regions, it's time for the main event, the final battle against your chosen dragon. Let's bring him out. We got Hellsang. This works in 2 stages, and the first is the final journey. So we're going to draw 7 cards and we're going to build 2 action sets. And in this portion on the final journey, we're focusing on movement. So with those action sets, you'll remember that we need an element, a spell, and a boost. So let's see kind of what we're working with here. Now we do have a lot of movement here. So I think that we're going to want to have a yellow element so we can have this enhanced. And we might want to boost it like so, but let's just say we'll have to do this plus this, and then we'll do a boost of 4 with this out. Then we're going to look at all of our movement and compare it with the dragon's MP, or movement points essentially. So in this upper set, we have the yellow element, which means that we get to use the enhanced element for 14 and a boost of 4. So that's 18. Then we're going to look down here where we have purple. So unfortunately, we didn't quite get there. Actually, this would have made more sense. So let's do that. That would have made a lot more sense. So we have purple, which means we can use the enhanced, which will put us up to 25 movement plus a boost of 5, which is 30 movement, which does in fact beat all of their MP. The more you succeed, the fewer cards you'll lose to time penalties before the fight. So we definitely want to try and maximize our movement as much as possible. And then we are going to do the final enemy. So you're going to take all remaining cards, usually around 5 to 8, and build 2 more action sets. This time you're checking for both your initiative and your attack. So I'm just going to use the same cards because I have them here. But let's just say I have these 7 again. Now we're looking for initiative and we're looking for attack. Keeping in mind that their health here, so we have 21, 26, and 30. So we want to be able to defeat those because that is going to determine how much they're hitting us back for. They also have shields in blue and purple. So we don't want to attack them with blue or purple. So let's have a look here at our hand. Now we have 2 pretty high attack cards here. So I say that we use red as an element in order to do a 14 attack. And then we can use another red element in order to do an 11 attack. And then we have a +5 and a +4 boost. So maybe we'll do something that looks a little bit like that. So first we will compare our initiative. So we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 total, where they have 12. If their initiative is higher, they're going to get to strike first. We don't want that. But our initiative is higher because we have one more than them. Now let's take a look at our attack. So because this is a red element, I will get to use the 14 plus 5 is going to be 19. Then down here, we have red element, red attack, which is another 11. So that's going to be 30 plus 4 for 34, which does beat out all of their health. If your attack doesn't beat the dragon's HP tiers, you'll take more damage. Now, armor can block part of your hit depending on color matchups, but we didn't use any of their color matchups being purple or blue. And spoiler alert, some of the dragons are brutal. They're tough, they're not easy. If you survive the damage from both early and combat damage, you win. If you don't, well, Veil is down, one apprentice, mage. You died. And once again, just in the same way with other enemies, you are going to be taking your damage through your mage cards and hoping that you still have some alive at the end of the game. Let's talk about scoring and difficulty. Your score is the sum of the levels of your surviving mage cards, but honestly, just winning feels like a feat. If you want to make things harder or easier, there are difficulty settings that adjust your starting card levels and variants like no fusing or weaker armor soaking. That, in a very general nutshell, is kind of how the game works. So just remember, you are going to be traversing through 4 different regions. Okay? And you are doing that by playing out mages. You are going to be upgrading them and downgrading them. You are going to be going on journeys and you are going to be fighting enemies. After you get through the 4 regions, you're taking on a dragon. To do that, you're going to go on one final journey and then have one final battle. You want to make sure that you have mage cards left at the end. You have some surviving so that you can win. Basically, you have a higher score so that you can win. So your question might be, who is this game for? Dragons of Etchinstone is perfect for solo gamers who love tactical decision-making, evolving card play, and a bit of fantasy flair. If you enjoy clever hand management, puzzle-like combat, and games that reward smart planning over sheer luck, this one's for you. It's a game where every turn matters and leveling up feels deeply satisfying, and trashing cards hurts. It hurts just a little bit. It's fine. It's compact but brainy, making it ideal for players who want portable solo experience with surprising amount of depth. If you are somebody that travels a lot, you love to play solo games, and you find a lot of the solo travel size games that you can take with you to be like not as heavy as you're looking for, this is definitely a crunchier, small solo experience. Once again, you can literally play this whole thing in your hand. Like this, 2, 3, let's just say this is one hand, this is the other. You can play this on an airport, like an airplane tray, no problem. Like here, I'm looking, oh, okay, so I have to encounter enemy 4. Here's this, here's like everything you could play basically in your hand or on a small table. There are also going to be expansions available for this game, so it's going to give you some different variety. And once again, the cards are all double-sided. So like this is one dragon, on the other side we have a different dragon. So lots of variety within this game. So if this sounds like it might be a game that you're interested in, a good fit for you, I'm going to have all of the information linked in the description below, as well as a playthrough once again from my friend Nick over at the Brothers Murph. And Chip Theory also has a great how to play. So if you're looking to kind of get a full, a more in-depth how to play, I will link that video below as well. But that's everything that I have for you all today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games like other games from Chip Theory Games, like one of my favorites, Too Many Bones. Too Many Bones. Here's a trove chest right here. You should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. For us, that's a Boardroom Game Cafe. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. I hope to see you again soon. And now I say goodbye. Goodbye. Then we have, found it. I threw my mage to the floor. It's fine. He's still alive, it's fine. The amount of XP is going to be listed on the enemy or down. Whoa, Bessie.